inauguration and installing an interim government? And just how widespread is this threat to Nigeria's democracy? How deeply does it run? Are there really Nigerian politicians who are radicalized enough and bitter and crazy enough to resort to systematic violence to prevent the inauguration from taking place on May the 29th? Well, for his reaction and assessment, I'm joined now in the studio by the noted public policy expert and supporter of Atiku Abubakar and the main opposition People's Democratic Party, Professor Usman Yusuf. Thank you very much indeed, Prof, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Charles.
What's your reaction to the DSS in effect saying that some people are planning to disrupt the democratic process in this country, install an interim government and prevent the presidential inauguration from taking place in May?
These are very weighty and heavy allegations that they presented without evidence. We salute the DSS for their service to the nation. Now it's very, very, very difficult time in this country that requires wisdom. And I don't see wisdom in what the statement is set out. What is the purpose of the statement? You should be talking to the DGSSS for them to explain to Nigerians what they mean by that.
Well, we certainly have tried.
Yeah, I know. But the point is, what is the purpose? At a time when millions of Nigerians are aggrieved after a flawed election, and I have been on record saying it's flawed in real time, even before the result was announced. And here you are, the screamy part of a ruling party, throwing a lot of inciting things. People are aggrieved. Now is the time for sane people to come in and calm people's nerves, not for an intelligence agency to come out and tell the world, oh, we know there are some people trying to literally overthrow the government and install an interim government. Who are these people? In the UK, does MI5 come and say, oh, we know there are people and walk away? Or in the United States, the FBI say, we know there are people and walk away?
Nevertheless, I mean, you're not disagreeing with the DSS and its role as keeper of the peace and law and order, because, I mean, you mentioned America. We saw how the FBI moved in when, in the US, attempts were made to storm Congress and prevent the certification of the presidential election.
Right. So DSS, don't come and tell us, we know you're going. It's like EFCC coming to tell us, we are keeping an eye on thieves stealing money. That's not what we want to hear. What we want to hear is what you have done and how you can reassure Nigerians. Now, what do you want Nigerians to do? Be fearful? Another answers insurrection is coming? What are you doing about it? So that's not wise. If there are people, truly there is a plot to do what you're saying they're doing, go get them. That's what you're paid to do.
But does the fact that the allegation is coming from the DSS make it more credible and therefore more alarming? Or are you one of those who believes that the DSS is a cooperating part of the ruling party and has simply tapped into their wishes to scare away those who continue to question the legitimacy of the election result and who might want to exercise their right to peaceful protest?
Good. I have a lot of respect for the DSS, but they have not reassured me that what they are doing is without prejudice. I looked at what they were saying, that the method they say these suspects are going to use to incite riots across several cities in the country, like NSAS, which they failed. They failed to preempt. NSAS was essentially an intelligence failure. So is the DSS trying to overcorrect for their failure of NSAS insurrection? Another thing they're saying, or the second method these guys are going to use is frivolous lawsuits.
Yes, I was coming to
Right.
that.
So who is the DSS? Is the DSS qualified to say any case is frivolous. That's not in the, they should drive within their lane. It's not up to them to say a case is frivolous or not. It's not. So they are driving into somebody else's lane. Essentially, this is the way I see it. Number one or two things. Number one is that they are trying to rattle the cage and scare whoever they think they want to scare. Or number two, they are following the tow line of the APC. Because the APC, the screaming part of the APC, were the ones who started this idea of interim government. One even was saying the coup, and to the same DSS that invited him for invitation. Oh, now all of a sudden the DSS is towing that line. Say, oh, the interim, then DSS, when did you know this? Did you know this after the screaming part of APC started saying this? So you are towing the line of the ruling party, number one. Number two, you are essentially, and I looked at what they were saying, they were even warning or advising the judiciary not to. So you're telling people the right to protest in a democracy is enshrined in our constitution. We see what's happening in France. We see what's happening currently in Israel. Democracy is messy. People have the right to protest and agitate. Absolutely. Within legal terms. So the DSS, what I see is, are they using whatever they're saying as an alibi to go after people or to stop people from doing that which the Constitution gives them the power to do? Which is a peaceful protest. Absolutely, peaceful protest. Anywhere in this country. And also the right to go to court. Absolutely, the right to go to court, the right to peaceful protest is theirs. And that is what this DSS statement is coming out to tell us, oh, they are going to protest or they are going to court. Hello, this is the right of every citizen to do that. And all the parties that are aggrieved with this election have taken their cases to court. And we have been telling our supporters all along to remain prayerful and calm. In fact, I have to say that I would commend the opposition for the way that they have kept the lid on the disenchantment that rocked this country and I think continues to rock the country. And it honestly has not been easy. I can imagine. And it's made worse by these people that think they've won the election coming out to make insightful statements. I do not see an adult coming to tell them, hey, shut up. We have business to do. We have a nation to heal. This is not the time to make this inciting statement. And DSS, do your job. Don't get into politics. People have the right to go to court. People have the right to protest anywhere in this country. And do not criminalize all of these. And we are watching very closely. This should not be a threat to Nigerians to do what the Constitution gives them the right to do. All we are telling our people is do things according to the law. And it's in the courts. The judiciary will do the right thing. And nobody, no agency will tell the courts what is frivolous. It's not within the purview of any security agencies to tell them that. So but are there concerns within opposition?